Hello, all you young people. Welcome back to 316. It is so good to see you on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, we are talking about a series that is called God Encounters. And I want you to know, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what is happening in your life, you can have a God encounter where God shows up in your life in a powerful way, and He wants to make Himself really practically known to each and every one of you. Today, we're gonna talk about Moses. Now again, I don't want to be too presumptuous, but I'm sure if you have been part of a church or you grew up with Sunday school, you have heard about the story of Moses, right? How God miraculously saved him, how he grew up as the son of Pharaoh, where then he killed one of the slave drivers and he had to run away. Now, years and years later, he had his own family already. He was tending sheep in the desert and he thought this was life. And then in Acts chapter 3, God shows up in his life. He has a God encounter where God shows up in the burning bush. Correct. Yes, God shows up to him. He has a God encounter where God speaks through him through the burning bush. Now, I want to put it close to your heart. The theme of the lesson today is that God's plan is so much bigger. God's plan is so much bigger. Now, whatever you have in your mind, where you think this might be what God wants me to accomplish in life, I want you to know, chances are that it is so much bigger than what you are imagining right now. God has a plan and a purpose for you, and I can guarantee you it is bigger than what you can even imagine right now. Moses was out there in the desert tending his sheep, and he thought this was it. This is my life now. I have my family. I'm tending my father-in-law's sheep. And this is just what life is going to be like now, from now onwards. But God has another plan. He comes in. He steps into Moses' life and says, no, I want you to go into Egypt and lead my people out. You know what? There are three things that I believe we can learn from Moses. And the first one is that God calls. God calls. See what it says in Exodus 3, verse 4. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, here I am. See, it's like we said earlier. Moses made a mistake, right? We talked about all the other ones before. Adam and Eve, we talked about Noah, we talked about Abraham, we talked about Jacob. All of them made mistakes. And that is very true for Moses' life as well. He made a mistake. He killed someone, and that's why he was now running away and he had to leave Egypt. But instead of God throwing him away into like a different kind of atmosphere, in a different kind of dimension where he's now slowly dying and withering away, no, God said, my purpose on your life is still very much alive and true. And I have a plan and a purpose for you. And I want you to know that what God has on your life is so much bigger than what you can imagine. And even when we make mistakes, God is not finished with us. So God calls. But the second thing that we have to understand from the story is also that God cares. God cares. See what it says in Exodus 3, verse 7. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them out of the land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. See, here it says very clearly that God cares, that He heard the misery, that He heard the cries of His people. And I want you to know that if you feel like you are suffering, if you are going through a difficult situation in your life, it doesn't go unnoticed with God. God knows what you are going through. He knows what you are struggling with, and He cares. So let God show up in your life and say, God, if you are really a God who cares for my life, who cares for me, then let me see who you are. Let me experience you in my life, and I can guarantee you that God will show up in your life because He is a God who cares. And the third thing that we can learn from Moses, or the story of Moses, is that God empowers. God empowers. See what it says in Exodus 3:12. And God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who has sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. Here we can see that God assured to Moses that He is with him, that God is the one who will empower him to bring the people out, because Moses basically had three excuses or three reasons why he said, God, it cannot be. You cannot use me. He had basically three reasons. The first one is, he said, who am I? Who am I that I should go? Will people even accept me? The second is where he said, but will they really believe me? Because I can go to them and tell them that God sent me, but what if they don't believe me? And the third excuse was where he really said, you know what, I cannot speak. And God said, I will be with you. Then He gave him a sign to prove that God's power is with him. And best of all, at the end, He said, you know what, I will send you a friend. I will send you a helper, and that is your brother Aaron. He will go with you, and he can speak with you or for you. See, God did not just from heaven supernaturally zap Moses and give him the power. No, God said, I will send you a friend. I will send you your brother to be with you and to stand with you. And I want you to know, very often we expect God's empowerment to come supernaturally, that He will zap us from heaven, and now we can accomplish whatever we want. But very often God will give us a friend. He will put someone alongside of us who becomes our friend, who can stand with us, who can encourage us, who can give us strength and encouragement, and together we can weather the storm and accomplish what God has set for our life. So I want you to know, instead of looking for a miraculously empowerment, how about you look for a friend? Or even better, maybe you should be that powerful friend that enables others to reach their full potential. So God calls, God cares for us, and God wants to empower us. How does He want to empower us? By being together, working together with other people. Now with this one, I encourage you, be a friend, be that powerful friend who encourages others to do and to live their best life. And I pray that you will also find friends who encourage you and encourage you to live your best life. All right? So I hope that you learned the lesson on Moses, that God's plan is so much bigger than what you can imagine right now. So be blessed, guys. I will see you at the Zoom call in just a little bit. Until then, God bless. Bye-bye.